Hey guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing some more galaxy or like space themed nails. If you couldn't tell from my last few videos, I have been really feeling the like space themed and like galaxy themed nails here lately. Um I do tend to go through a phase every now and then where I just want to do like space themed nails. I've mentioned before how like galaxy and like space themes and like aliens are kind of like my favorite type of designs for nails. I don't really know why or what it is about it, but I have loved galaxy nails since like middle school. So um yeah, sometimes I just go on like a little um marathon of like doing space and galaxy nails. So that's kind of what I've been doing here recently. Um so I had already like did all my prep, applied my tips, built up the nails and everything, and it had been a couple days from the time that I did my nails to now doing like all the nail art on top of them. So I did just wipe them off with some alcohol to remove any like oils that may be on there from like cuticle oils, soaps, lotions, even just like my natural oils. Just make sure all of that was off of there and the nails were like completely like free of all that. And then after that, I did go in and apply some primer to the nails just to give the polish something to stick to. Even though I do build my nails with hard gel, and like gel polish should stick to that because gel typically does stick to gel, I just want to make sure that the gel polish has like the best chance possible to stay on and not chip off. So I did apply that first. I usually don't apply a base coat whenever I'm doing a full like solid colored nail. I will if I'm just going over top and doing like a design like a French tip, where I'm just doing like some sort of painted on design on top of like the nails themselves instead of doing a full color. So that's why I didn't do a base coat this time and just went in with the black from Ball Pit. I applied that to all the nails, cured them for 60 seconds, and then I did only do one layer of that because, as you can see here, I am applying a cat eye on top of that. And I don't know, usually when I do cat eyes, or even if I'm doing like chrome on top of a base, I usually only do like one coat of that base color, because I don't really feel like I need to do multiple coats, because the chrome either covers it all, or if I'm doing a cat eye, like the cat eye covers it pretty well as well. It also kind of depends on like the color that I'm using on the base, but because I am using this black from Ball Pit and it is a super pigmented one coat coverage black, I really don't need that second coat. But anyhow, after I got that on, I just took Whimsical Wonderland from Nails by Dev. I have used this gel polish quite a lot recently. It is like a galaxy in a bottle, basically. As you can see here, it's like this blue to purple, or like a purple to blue kind of shift. And when you first put it on, you'll see here I do show on this nail here, like when you first put it on, you don't really see that like blue shift at all. It is very like just purple and kind of like a reddy pink kind of color. And then once you magnetize it, that's when that blue kind of pops out. And so when I'm applying this, like with cat eye gel polishes, you don't have to magnetize them. Like you can just leave them like this. Like this color right here is gorgeous on its own, just applied straight onto the nail. But because I am doing like this galaxy theme, I did kind of want to just kind of swirl it around a little bit and create like little galaxy nebulas or whatever they're called. So that's why I'm like magnetizing it and doing all these little designs on it. But to magnetize it, I'm just taking my rectangle magnet and going all around the perimeter of the nail to bring all those magnet pieces up to the surface. And then I go in with my pen magnet and just kind of move those pieces around however I want. Each nail is different. I do something a little bit differently on each one. The middle nail, all I did was go around the perimeter with that rectangle magnet. I didn't do the little pen magnet here because I was also really liking how it looked to just have all the magnet pieces brought up to the surface and do kind of like that your typical like satin type of cat eye design. Although with this cat eye gel polish, it doesn't really give that like satin type of effect because this is more of like a glittery type of cat eye and not like the satin finish type of cat eye, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, after I got the magnet pieces arranged how I wanted them, I did just go ahead and flash cure real quick to hold them in place, because if you were to just leave it sit there and continue on with the rest of your nails, those magnet pieces do end up kind of going back to where they started. It doesn't keep its place anymore. So you do just have to either fully cure or flash cure, depending on like your preference and like what you want to do, or what you're doing on your nails. But if you're doing like all your nails with cat eye, you can just flash cure them real quick. Or if you're just doing like one nail with the cat eye, then you want to fully cure that. But just cure it real quick so that it holds its place. And then once I got all of the nails done, I did go in and cure them for a full 60 seconds to make sure everything was completely cured. And then after doing that, I did wipe them off with some alcohol to remove that sticky layer, since I was going to go in here on top and do some little stars for the design here. I honestly really didn't need to do that because I wasn't really doing too much nail art on top. Like, I'm just doing these little 4-pointed stars, and then I do dot on some tiny little dots to create some even smaller stars. So it really wouldn't have made too much of a difference if I wiped that sticky layer off or not. But also I wanted to make sure that the little lines on those 4-pointed stars didn't really spread out too much. So that's why I did wipe off that sticky layer. And then you saw I just went in and did all the dots. Now I'm just going in and doing all those lines. I don't put a whole lot of gel polish on my brush whenever I do this. I mainly am just taking the gel that's on that dot and pulling it out. But I do have a little bit of polish on my brush. It just makes it glide easier on the nail, because if you don't have enough polish on your brush, it does kind of tend to like stick and doesn't glide very smoothly. So I do like to make sure there is a little bit on the brush, but not a whole lot to where I'm adding more polish onto the nail. And as you can see, I'm just going through and doing all of these all at once. If you feel more comfortable like doing one nail at a time or one star at a time and like flash curing in between, then obviously you are more than welcome to do that. But for me, I kind of didn't want to keep having to stick my hand in the lamp and like flash curing and doing that. And I felt confident enough to be able to just go through, do all the dots, and then do all the lines real quick, and then do a full 60-second cure. But like I said, if you aren't confident in yourself, or you feel like you are going to mess up and bump the nails, then go ahead and flash cure whenever you feel the need to flash cure, and then make sure you do fully cure once you're finished for a full 60 seconds. Now I'm just taking one of those really tiny dotting tools. It almost looks like a pen, or like the tip of a pen or whatever. and just dotting those on. Some larger dots, some smaller dots, just kind of randomly, trying to keep them more surrounding the 4-pointed stars that I did. I do on a couple of the nails go like in between there, but for the most part I just wanted the stars to kind of be like in little clusters around each other. But, you know, if you do this, you can do your stars however you want, obviously. And then once I got all the little dots on, I did go ahead and cure for a full 60 seconds. And again, I wasn't flash curing in between. I just went through, added all the dots onto the nails, and then did one 60-second cure once I was finished with adding all of those dots on. So originally this set was supposed to be like one of those super like tropical floral, you know, 3D flowers and butterflies and like tiger print and stuff like that designs that have been going around. But then when I sat down to do them, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. Like I had seen it so much all over like Instagram and Pinterest and everything that I just kind of, I think, like got burned out from it, and I was like, everybody's already done it. It's been done so many times. I don't really want to do that. So then I just, like I said, I'm on a space kick right now. So I was like, I'm going to do space nails. And then I was also going to do my mom's nails, that like tropical floral design as well. Because I had asked her if she wanted to have matching nails, and she was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I've been doing her nails for the past few months, and every time I'm like, okay, what design do you want? And she's like, can't you just pick it for me? And I'm like, nope, because you are a little picky, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do something that you're not gonna like. But then finally I was like, ooh, we can have matching nails this time, and we can do something like this. And I sent her like some inspo pictures, and she was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. Minus the 3D elements and stuff, because for her work she can't have the 3D stuff. But yeah, then I was just kind of not feeling that anymore, and I was like, okay, so do you want to do, I told her, I'm like, I'm not feeling this design anymore. Do you want to do like funky neon abstract design, or do you want to do like a space design? And she was like, I guess space is fine, because like I sent her some inspo pictures for like space sets and like the neon abstract sets, because she's not really like she can't really picture that stuff in her head. She needs to like visually see something. So I sent her some pictures of right here. I was just showing like this after I got the stars on, because you could obviously just top coat the nails and be done and have like that be your galaxy set if you wanted, just some really cool cat eye with some stars. But for me, you know, I like to go all out and do a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I'm going to do some 3D planets. I'm using some fantasy clays from Ball Pit and some trippy gels from Nails by Dev. Because I am going to be like mixing colors and like swirling colors together, I pulled out some colors from Ball Pit that I could use together, and then I pulled out some colors from Nails by Dev that I could use together. And these two formulations are very different formulations. So I'm not mixing the two brands together. It's just all the Ball Pit brand gels are getting mixed together, and then the Nails by Dev gels are getting mixed together, which technically is what you are supposed to do anyhow. You're not supposed to mix two different nail brands together, whether you're mixing solid gels or gel polishes, because the formulations can be so different, and each brand has different requirements for how their stuff needs to be cured. Obviously, I have like mixed two different brands of gel polish colors together to get the colors that I've needed before, which, like I said, you're technically not supposed to do that, but you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to get, you know, what you need. Like I said, I don't necessarily recommend it, but, you know, if you have to do it, you have to do it. And like personally for me, I've never had an issue before, but that doesn't mean that you won't have an issue. That also doesn't mean that in the future, if I were to mix two different brands together, that I wouldn't have an issue. Like, you know, issues can arise at any point. So, all that just to say, you're not supposed to mix two different brands together like that. And especially, which, like I said, I've done it before, and like, it's whatever. But especially with these 3D gels here, because they are such different formulations, and just like the texture themselves are different between the two brands, I really didn't feel comfortable mixing them together. So I did end up pulling out some of the same colors from both of the brands, but with Ball Pit, like, she doesn't have the same color range that Nails by Dev has. Like, hers is a lot smaller. She did just recently release these, so like, this is the only collection that she has for these 3D gels, whereas Nails by Dev, she like has been releasing 3D gels for a while, and she has like several different collections and whatever. I do only just have her like original solid color 3D gel collection, but so I did pull out some of the same colors between the two brands, but like I said, that was just so I could you know, do the swirling and the mixing that I needed to do, or that I wanted to do. So I'm just taking, you know, 2 to 3 colors, swirling them around, twisting them, smushing them, however, to try and get them to like swirl and mush together, not fully mixed together, because I still wanted to see like the separation of colors. And then I would just kind of roll them up in a little ball, and then I just set them down on my silicone mat right there, because they're not going to stick to that. It's silicone, like the gel just doesn't stick to that. And as you can see, I have a bunch made up. I thought I was recording when I was making a bunch of these, but I wasn't. I had only recorded a couple of them, and then I realized like I hit pause on the recording at some point and never started it back up. So then I started it back up to show you a couple more, although I am really bad out of frame on a lot of these parts. So it's basically just me mushing together some colors and then rolling them up in a ball to get like a circle shape, and then just setting them down. There were a few that I did that were just one single color. I did have to mix up a gray because I wanted one of the planets, or the moon, I guess, to be gray. I wasn't really trying to make any certain type of planet. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I want to make Earth, and I want to make Venus and Saturn and Neptune and all of that. I was just kind of like, oh, I think these two colors are going to look really cool together, so I'm going to swirl these together. And then, like I said, I did want the gray to kind of make like the moon, I guess. So I did swirl up a gray. That's like kind of the only one that I like really referenced any actual type of like moon or planet or something. The rest are just, you know, whatever colors I felt like mixing together that I thought would look good. So then after that, this 3D gel sticks a lot better to sticky surfaces rather than like a smooth surface, or even a matte surface. Like, I feel like in my experience, it really doesn't stick to a matte surface at all. Like, I've been able to get it to stick to like a smooth surface without a sticky layer before, but like matte surface, it just falls off immediately. So because I had wiped off the bases of these nails with alcohol and removed that sticky layer before going in and doing the stars, I did just go in and apply a base coat and then cured that on the nails, so that way the nails were still sticky, so that way the gel would stick to it. And then I just took the little ball and if it was a swirled colored ball or it had like multiple colors, I would kind of look around it to see like what side I wanted to face up, and then I would set that down on the nail and then smush it down onto the nail so it wasn't sticking so high up and it was a little more flat, and then just taking my silicone tool to kind of round that shape out a little bit. Also try and like push it down a little bit more on the side so it was really stuck down onto the nail. And then for a few of them, I did just do some little craters on there. I just took this dotting tool and just poked some little like craters into it. And then I did flash cure in between each nail. And then once I got all of the planets on, I did do a full 60-second cure at the end. That's basically just how I did the planets. I think I showed doing the 4 nails there. I did the thumb off camera, but I think I showed myself applying all of the planets onto those 4 nails. I don't know. But anyhow, going back to what I was saying earlier, like, yeah, I asked my mom about, like, you know, space or neon, and then she was like, oh, well, and I showed her, like, the reference pictures to, like, give her an idea, not to be like, this is exactly what it's going to be, but, like, something kind of like this kind of vibe or whatever, and she was like, I kind of like the space a little better. My mom, she's not really into, like, really standing out so much, and like she doesn't really like when I do her nails, she mainly likes to have pink. So any kind of design that has pink or like is a subtle design, like she'll want me to just paint her nails plain pink or do like a super subtle design. If you go on my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I have been posting the nails that I've been doing on her for the past few months, so you can see like the type of designs that she has me do on her. Like like I said, she doesn't really like the like super flashy out there stuff. She definitely likes the more like soft and subtle, more minimal type of stuff, whereas I'm the complete opposite. I like the bright colors and like the annoying designs and like all the 3D flashy type of stuff. So I think even like the space theme is a little out of her comfort zone, but it is more like I could make it fit more of what she likes. I feel like more than that neon. And like with space, I can do like darker colors, and maybe add like, you know, have the planets be like brighter pops of color in there, you know? Whereas with the neon, that's just like loud and in your face, which is not what she likes. So, also like the other design that I was gonna do, like that florally design, it fit better with like what she likes. But it still was, I think, a little outside of her comfort zone. But like I said, it was more within the realm of what she likes. And again, like I said, I wouldn't be doing all this 3D stuff, and I wouldn't be doing like the 3D flowers, and I'm not going to do the 3D planets and stuff like that. It's all just going to be hand painted and everything. So it is going to be a little different and more tamed down, as much as I can tame it down for her, so that way she's not like, you know, absolutely hating what's going on. I did show her this set that I did so she could kind of get a better idea of, you know, what was gonna happen like when I paint her nails, and she thinks they're super pretty. I mean, she always likes the sets that I do, but she will be like, you know, it's not something that I would like, but, or like that I would want on my nails, but like that's a really cool design and you did really well on it and stuff. So like, you know, we're just two very different types of people. But I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, that is going to be the next video, actually, after this one, me painting my mom's nails. just so you guys could see, like, if you did want to do this without doing the 3D planets, right here I'm creating a ring for one of the planets. I just took some of that gel out, and because I only had one glove on, I'm using my this cuticle pusher here that I specifically use this cuticle pusher for scooping out these gels, because it does have like cured on gel onto it, and it like has some gels stuck to it, so I don't want to be using that on myself or on my mom and getting that gel onto the skin and everything. So I do only use this one for like scooping the 3D gels out of the pots, but I did use that to roll out a little like noodle, and then I put it down and then just kind of mushed it around to get it to look like a ring, and then I did cure it for a full 60 seconds. But anyhow, like I was saying, yeah, my next video after this is going to be me doing my mom's nails, so you guys can see if like if you wanted to do a set like this without having to do like the 3D elements, like if you're not into 3D type of stuff and you do want to just paint the planets on, you can see how like I go about doing that, and like how I go about painting planets and like getting the same type of like swirl designs or like different planet designs just painted on, rather than sculpting them out and making them 3D. It is gonna kind of, like I said, be kind of the same. It will be a little different because it's just on her natural nails, so they are, you know, super short. That's also another good thing, like if you also are just painting on your natural nails, like you can see that you can do a design like this on your natural nails. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of the same, but also it's gonna be different because there's not gonna be all the 3D elements. They're not gonna be as long. And I might change the colors a little bit depending on like how she's feeling and like what she wants me to do. So we'll just see how that goes. Oh my gosh, how that turns out. But now I'm just taking my shiny top coat from LGN, and I'm just going around and top coating. I wanted to go around all the planets to show you guys what it would look like if you were to just top coat the base and leave the planets be matte. With these 3D gels, both the Nails by Dev and the Ball Pit 3D gels do cure without a sticky layer. They do cure more on the matte side. But if you like how they look once it's cured, you don't have to top coat at all unless you wanted to do it shiny, or if some of them do cure a little on the shinier side, like that blue and brown planet right there. It does have a little bit of shiny spots on it. So it, like I said, it just kind of depends on you know, what you want. But I am going to show you here what they look like if you were to just top coat the base of the nail and have like the background be shiny and then leave the planets matte. That is a really cool look. However, I'm not really a huge fan of matte designs on myself. I also really wasn't feeling the matte planets on the shiny background. I do think it looks cool, but like for myself, I just wasn't feeling it. So I did end up top coating over the planets as well to make them shiny. And then I did cure for a full 60 seconds. But I did just want to make sure I showed you guys like how it would look if you did leave the planets matte and then have the background be shiny, so that way you could see and decide, like, you know, for yourself which way you liked better. Honestly, you could make the background be matte too. Cat Eye looks really cool when it's matte. You wouldn't think it would because like it's kind of that shiny, shimmery, glittery look, but cat eye looks super cool when it's matte. I do really like how it looks when it's matte, but like I said, for this set and for myself, like I'm not really huge on matte nails, so I did just go ahead and do full shiny nails like I usually do whenever I do my own nails. So here is what they would look like if you were to keep the planets matte and have the background be shiny. Like I said, it is super cool. And like I said, they are more matte. They're not like super matte, like if you were to top coat them with a matte top coat. So if you did want them to be like super matte like that, you could top coat with a matte top coat and make them even more matte than how they look when they're just cured. But like I said, I wasn't really feeling it, so I just went over top them with the shiny top coat. And for the crater planets and stuff, I did do a really thin coat of it. Like I pretty much wiped almost all of the top coat off the brush so that I had a super thin amount, or a super small amount of top coat on the brush when I top coated those, because I didn't want the craters to like fully get filled in, so that they ended up just smoothing out. I did still want to be able to see those, but I did have enough gel polish, or polish on them, so that like it would go into the craters and like fill them and top coat the little holes as well, but not fill them to where it just made it be a smooth circle. And then once I did get this on, I did go ahead and cure for a full 60 seconds. And this is the finished result, both hands here. This set is so cool. I absolutely love it. This is probably in like my top 5 favorite sets that I've ever done. Automatically I love it because it's space, and I love space nails, galaxy nails, alien nails. Like I've mentioned a few times now, favorite type of designs for nails. They always look so cool, and there's like so many different ways you can do it, and every time you do it they look different, which is why I love them so much. Like there's so many different options of, or ways to do these, and like different ways of making them look. I feel like my left hand, like the planets are more like realistic looking, whereas the ones on my right hand are a little more like fantasy or like sci-fi movie looking, you know. They're more of the bright neon unusual colors, whereas I feel like the ones on my left hand are more like neutral colors that you would see of planets. Although I don't know, there might be, you know, hot pink planets with neon green rings on them somewhere out there, but they look so cool under the flash here. That cat eye that I use does have reflective glitters in it, so you can really see those, and I love that because it makes it look like more stars just twinkling back there. Even when it's not under the flash and you just see the glitter from the cat eye on here, it still looks like stars twinkling in the background. They look cool all the time. But I feel like under flash is when they look the best. Here outside, like you can't really see that blue shift really. You really just see like the purple and that like reddish pink color in there. Although in person, I feel like you can see more of the blue just like on camera, like this angle, I guess. It's kind of hard to see the blue, but like they still look super cool. I absolutely love them. Like I said, one of my top 5 favorite sets ever. Like I never want to take these off. I love them so much. And like seriously, look at these. Look at them under the flash. Like they just look so cool. Like I absolutely love Galaxy nails. Like I cannot express how much I love Galaxy nails, and like this set is just, I don't know. I just love it. Like I can't I'm like speechless looking at them. Like I'm having so much fun with them. I've had them on for a couple days now when I'm editing this, and I just absolutely love them so much. I'm gonna be so sad when I have to take them off because I never want to take them off. I just want to keep these on forever because they're so cool. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.